People, Deluded, I'm back again. Quick one now. I'm sure you've all seen our newly recruited, better yet, centre half from Lille, Gabriel. He's had the perfect start, if you could say that, to his life in the Premier League. You see him get voted Player of the Month for Arsenal. And like I said, the key thing, and if you take nothing away from this video, the key message for me is that, he signed a 4 or 5 year deal. It's great that he's had this first month, but, a month, 3 or 4 year period, great start, but we need to continue developing. We need to keep going. For me, with that said, I'm happy for him. He's 22. We knew we was getting a rough diamond. We knew we'd got someone with scope to improve and develop. At 22, you're hoping that he can, he can improve, he can develop, and he can go off to become that sort of player of responsibility at Arsenal, a sort of jewel in our crown in defence, Rolls Royce of a defender. With that being said, increase stature, get called up to the Brazilian team, increase your value if you're ever sold. Just become part of a formidable back five, including the keeper. When Saliba eventually gets ready and whatnot, when Saliba is in his finished product, the same goes for Tierney. Leno isn't too old for a goalkeeper, and between Maitland-Niles, Bellerin, or bringing in the next man, you have a defensive sort of block that could be around for a significant period of time. For me, I'm happy for him because it's difficult. He's shown great courage throughout his whole career. He left his home house in Brazil to go to another region of Brazil as a youth. As a young man, he got up and came over to Europe. He's gone on loans while he's been here to Croatia as well from France. He's lived in France essentially by himself. And now at 22, he's gone, from his way of life in Brazil and just the way it is to being in hustly, bustly London. It must be two separate. It must be a madness. It must be difficult. So I'm happy that it's happened for him. He's had a good start, the one game he didn't play on Monday against Liverpool, well, a few weeks ago, obviously, we was thinking, why is he not involved? Getting Fulham is Fulham. The only thing, obviously, there will come tough times, people. There will come. He is going to make mistakes. He is going to have terrible games. He is going to get run ragged. You can already see it. At times, his concentration levels and his anticipational levels and his just willingness to defend and aggression, it helps. But sooner or later, because it does happen, he likes to. He's a bit like Koscielny in that he likes to intercept. He's aggressive. He's going to make fouls. He's going to potentially give away penalties. David Luiz against Sheffield, he kind of put him in trouble with an underhit pass, and he also did that against Fulham with Leno. You can say Luiz and Leno could have done better, but it's also Gabriel. So there might come a time where that results in a goal. Mistakes happen. What I like about Gabriel, when the inevitable mistake happens, he looks like and he seems like he has the mentality to react. Like, not to gas myself or use it as an example, but everyone can play well. Gabriel is always going to look like a good defender. We're on the front foot, where we're playing at the Emirates, where the grass is green. It's about when we're under the cosh and whatnot. And I think he's also done well in those incidences, people. But it's how he reacts to making a mistake that's going to make the difference. Like this Sunday that's just gone, people, 2 days ago, it's brainless. You shouldn't slide in the box, but I fully slid someone in the box. Mistimed the challenge. It's a penalty. I'm the captain. I thought it was a madness. It's a cup game. We were winning 1-0 at this point, but we're not scoring. It's about 70 odd minutes on the clock. They've scored that penalty, and bearing in mind it's going straight to penalties. I'm shook for a sec, people. There's a 10-minute passage. It isn't happening for me. I'm trying to do it. It isn't happening. We've got backs against the wall. I'm thinking, oh man, if it comes to penalties, it's all my fault. I've just said to myself, I've looked in the sky. I said, God, bust me, please give me something. Then I've said, you know what, F it. I'm a fullback. We've got them under pressure. I'm running forward. And I got myself in attacking positions, and I don't normally score, but I managed to score. It was a scruffy goal, but you see, I'm not to gas myself, and it's a funny example, but it's about the mentality. I believe Gabriel's got all the capabilities to be a leader, and I think this is a good reward for his early start to his Arsenal life. He's done well. He's firmly worked well with a Holding, with Tierney, with David Luiz, and he looks comfortable to play in a bunch of formations. He can play in the back four. Clearly, he can do well in the back three. And it's so far so good, really. I think he deserves it. What more can I say? He's played quite well. He's been consistent, and that's all we wanted. And to be fair, we signed him for 30 million. We've signed Partey for 45. We always call this club stingy, but it could turn out to be a real good piece of business. I think Gabriel's going straight to the top, man. I think Gabriel's got a lot of potential. I'm not here to talk about world class and this and that. I do believe if he keeps developing before the end of the season, if not already, he will be in that Brazil's team. I do think he can develop and become a Brazilian international on a regular basis. I do think he can become one of the best centre-halves in the Premier League and do what he wants. I do think if he keeps developing, there's obviously scope for resale value when the big European clubs circulate, which I hope isn't the case. I think he's got a lot of potential to offer us. That being said, people, away from Gabriel, and like I said, big up Gabriel for his start. In the other, according to Arsenal votes, I can't remember, I think Lacazette was second and Bellerin was third, Shout out to Bellerin. There are some other candidates I'd rather throw in there, but I think Bellerin, not to get at Bellerin, I think he deserves it, but I think there's been other good performers. I feel Gabriel and Lacazette there. I feel it could have been Bellerin, it could have been others. But Lacazette deserves it. In his three games in the Premier League, forgive me if I'm wrong, he's struck 3 times. We've spoken of him needing to score goals and whatnot, and definitely off the back of last season, he's scoring goals and he's keeping Nketiah out of the team, really, apart from our last fixture. I think Bellerin deserved to be nominated because Bellerin's been well. I still think there's a lot more to come from Bellerin. Like, I feel them two have been really good. I think Bellerin's been good. That's a criticism. You look at the first and second half against Sheffield, Bellerin was vintage in that second half. First half, it was a bit shaky, and we just want to see that second half Bellerin come out a bit more. But I do think he deserves to be highlighted for his praise, and long may it continue. You want Bellerin. I want Bellerin to have a good season because I want that right back spot to get locked down, whether it's Maitland or Bellerin, even though Maitland's my choice. I don't really like I like critics of every. Well, not that I like critics. I don't mind critics. You can ask positive questions of players, but we do know that Bellerin gets a bit scapegoated. He is someone that's an easy target, and when there's a man like that, you always want them to do well. So shout out to Bellerin, shout out to Lacazette. The core focus of this video was Gabriel. Long may it continue. But again, it's only been a couple of months, so let's start as we mean to go on. But it's a fantastic start. He's here. He has to settle into a new country. He has to settle into a new way of life and all of these sort of things. I'm not sure on his level of English and the level of communication just yet, but you can imagine as he grows and plays, and every good performance probably raises his confidence levels. And he's probably still not I think he's comfortable in the team, comfortable with Arteta, but he's probably still not fully comfortable within himself in the Prem. So as he gets there, we'll see a better Gabriel. And like I said, man, at 22, the potential's evident. We just want him to, develop, keep learning, and, ultimately learning from mistakes and failings, and just keep remaining consistent, because this is what we've needed. We just wanted a centre-half that could actually defend. And now we've got a centre-half where we can actually look at and have some sort of pride. Saying that, I'm not going to disrespect David Luiz, because I think he's been good so far this season. Holding has definitely excelled when given chances so far. So at this moment in October, the signing of Gabriel's proven to be very good, and I think we've got a positive reaction from existing defensive options, because if I'm Holding, I want to play this season. If I'm whatever centre-half, there's 8 on the books. Even if I'm Socrates, I want to try and complicate Arteta's thinking. I know Socrates might not be named in the Premier League squad, but you get the point. It's down to them 8. There's 8 centre halves, only 2 can play. Well, 3 because we play 3-4-3. 1 on the bench, so there's 4 places, 3 starting. There's still 8 man. I don't want to. The maths don't sound good. Go and give Arteta a positive problem. But we're going off topic. Big up Gabriel. Like I said, let's hope it continues, because he's a player that I'm sure a lot of Arsenal fans, myself included, have fell in love with. There's a lot of development to do, and you can see the rawness in his game. But what I love about Gabriel, he just seems to love defending. Like, he likes defending. He's aggressive. He can ball play. He seems that he's a good listener. He just does his job. You rarely see him making them stupid errors. His positioning seems all right. There's a lot of developing, like I said, but there's a lot of things I wanted to see, and obviously him being left-footed and whatnot is a bonus too. I like how he's worked with David Luiz in particular, both Brazilian, both at 2 different points in their careers, one experienced, one not. And you're hoping in time that could be Gabriel. Because again, Saliba's a couple of years off him, but if we was to look at it from footballing perspective, if Arteta genuinely believed right now Saliba could help us, there wouldn't be talk of going out on loan. I hope he gets opportunities. I'm not belittling Saliba. What I'm saying is, when Gabriel, in a season, Luiz is probably not going to be here next year. He might very well be, but he might not be. You want Gabriel to a slight degree to be, to be to Saliba you want Gabriel to be to Saliba what David Luiz to a degree right now is to Gabriel, if you get what I said there. I kind of butchered it. So we'll see what happens in that regards. But I couldn't be happier. And for me, the main thing is the spine of the squad. We're trying to improve it. You know, we've brought in Gabriel. Saliba in time will prove his worth. Partey at 27 is a good signing. You know, in 5 years he's only 32. When did Fernandinho come to this league? You know, you've got Tierney brought in last year, not the oldest. Pepe, whatever you lot say, I think he's a decent player. You know, not one of the oldest. You know, Bellerin, Maitland, positive signs in terms of age. You know, it's all about an Arteta himself. You know, we've got a youthful squad / early sort of 20 squad. We've got a very young manager. And that, you know, means there's, you know, there for the task at hand, for the cycle, probably 2 to 3 to 4 years, these players are in the right age with it. You know, we've got Aubameyang, Laka, Willian, you know, even David Luiz to a degree. You've got players that kind of need to achieve stuff now. You know, the next 5 years you're not going to be about. So I hope they're all, you know, doing their bit so we can have a positive season and move closer to our aim of returning back to Europe's top competition, Europe's elite club competition. But we'll have to see, people, really and truly. But like I said, big up Gabriel. On that note though, people, it's always a pleasure, but I'm going to have to love and leave you. DG, I'm out. Please make sure you hit the like button. Help me score up higher in YouTube searches and defeat the YouTube algorithm and just get the brand out there. The higher we rank, the more people see it, the more subscribers and more, you know, branding we can kind of do and whatnot. I'd love to hear your opinion, so please don't feel any sort of way when it comes to commenting. I really want to hear your opinions in that regards. Make sure you've hit the subscription button. I can't imagine you haven't already, but if you haven't, you're a disgrace, because you know I'm the best at this. But more importantly than that, stay safe, look after your family, and hope to see you soon. You know, don't go missing for too long. You know, I've got content for days, and you blink and there'll be about 25 videos. So make sure you're checking it and you got your notification bell and all of those things on. But good evening, people. You know, enjoy what's left of your evening, day, or whatever by the time I bring out this vid. But on that note, DG, I'm out. God bless.